Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Raymond Yeung. Here are tonight's top stories. Robbers escaped with $3.8 million worth of watches from a shop in Tsim Sha Tsui. Lawmakers give their unanimous approval for drastic changes in district councils. And U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen arrives in Beijing in the latest attempt to improve Sino-US ties. Police are hunting for 5 people who fled with watches worth over $3.8 million following a daylight robbery in Tsim Sha Tsui. A car believed to have been used in the holdup was found abandoned hours later in Hong Kong. Macy Mock reports.
A siren sounded in Tsim Sha Tsui as 3 suspected robbers ran towards a getaway car after a watch shop on Modi Road was ransacked at around 2 p.m. Surveillance footage showed the damage done just moments earlier. 2 men, one armed with a knife, smashed a glass counter with hammers as an employee looked on in panic. A 3rd suspect stood guard. Police cordoned off the Wa Tai watch shop and part of Modi Road as dozens of officers took part in an investigation. Officers say the robbers got away with at least 8 watches worth more than $3 million. At least 5 people were involved. A money exchange worker next door described her experience.
Of course, I'm scared, but it's okay. I know Hong Kong is safe and the police are doing their job.
An employee in another neighboring shop who only allowed reporters to film the floor said she heard screams from a female worker of Wa Tai Watch. A car suspected to have been used in the getaway was found near the Polytechnic University's dormitory building in Hong Kong this afternoon. The vehicle was empty, but officers searched for fingerprints and took photos to help in their investigation. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
A bill to drastically revamp the structure of the district councils has cleared the final hurdle in the Legislative Council.
我宣布議案獲得通過。
With an unanimous vote, the District Council's Amendment Bill 2023 passed its 3rd and final reading today. Under the proposal, only 88 seats will be directly elected, down from 452 in the past. The remaining seats will be either appointed or reserved for local committees dominated by pro-Beijing figures. Ahead of the vote, Home Affairs Secretary Alice Mack said it was time to end this political farce and that the new system will ensure the city's long-term stability. The government has been urged to consider pressing charges against homeowners who fail to complete compulsory checks and maintenance work within 3.5 years. This comes as the building's director said staff may not have noticed cracks on the wall of a Mongkok building after concrete fell for the first time. Janice Low reports.
After concrete fell from the 15-story Pawon building in Mongkok last Sunday, the buildings department conducted an inspection and gave the all-clear. But yesterday, more concrete fell from the same unit on the 15th floor, narrowly missing a pedestrian. Buildings Director Clarice Yu said such incidents are rare. She admitted that her colleagues might have missed cracks during the inspection. Yu refuted claims that they were sloppy, but said they would be more thorough next time. Over 7,000 buildings were ordered to undergo checks, but more than 4,000 have not done so as of May. A lack of maintenance culture among homeowners was blamed.
They would just take care of their individual home and flat, instead of joining together and pay out more money for the goodness of the entire building as a whole.
Ho suggested that the government should provide support for buildings that do not have an owner's corporation or a residents' organization.
Maybe establish a new authority or a corporate body to take up those maintenance works or repair works as necessary for those buildings. Really in lack of coordinations, and they don't have any possibility of getting the inspections done.
Ho said inspection and maintenance work should be completed within 3.5 years after an inspection order is received. If homeowners fail to do so, the buildings department should consider prosecution if they ignore reminders. Janice Low, HKIBC.
National Security Police have arrested another member of the Prodemocracy group, Demosisto. Kelvin Chu was stopped at the airport as he was about to leave for Taiwan. 4 other members of the disbanded group were arrested yesterday. All 5 are accused of conspiring to collude with foreign forces and commit acts with seditious intent. They allegedly provided monetary aid to fugitive and Demosisto founder Nathan Law by running a social media platform and mobile app. Acting Chief Executive Eric Chan warned the public not to give any form of support to those who violate the national security law. The Hong Kong International Airport celebrates its 25th birthday today. Airport Authority Chairman Jack So said although there has been an improvement in passenger numbers and the cargo business, the figures are still below pre-COVID levels. Macy Mock reports.
Drummers and dancers performed in Chek Lap Kok to celebrate the Hong Kong International Airport's 25th anniversary. Airport Authority Chairman Jack So and Chief Executive Fred Lam joined in the revelry. In its annual report, So wrote that the previous fiscal year was encouraging, as the number of flights and passengers rebounded after travel restrictions were lifted. During the fiscal year that ended on March the 31st, the number of passengers who used the airport stood at 12.4 million. That was 8 times more than in the previous year, but still a long way from pre-COVID levels, with a high of 75.1 million in 2018-19. In May this year, the airport hosted 3.1 million passengers. That was an 18-fold surge from May last year, when there were only 170,000. But it was half the number in May 2019, when 6.2 million people used the airport. The figures for cargo were even gloomier. The airport handled 350,000 tons of cargo in May, lower than the amount last year and in 2019 before COVID struck. In 2022-23, the airport's cargo and airmail throughputs dropped 16% to 4.1 million tons compared to 2021-22. The airport authority blamed the global economic slowdown and supply chain disruptions, but said Hong Kong remains the world's busiest cargo airport. Maisie Mock, HKIBC.
U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has arrived in Beijing on a 4-day trip on Washington's latest fence-mending mission. She will hold talks with Chinese officials, business leaders, and members of the public during her stay. Sino-US ties have fallen to new lows because of disagreements on a wide range of issues, including trade, technology, and security. Yellen's arrival comes just weeks after Secretary of State Antony Blinken met President Xi Jinping when he visited Beijing. A Russian missile has struck a residential building in the Ukrainian city of Lviv, killing at least 4 people and injuring 32. Emergency crews rescued several people trapped under the debris of the flattened building. It was one of the largest attacks on civilian areas since Russia invaded Ukraine last year. The mayor of Lviv said around 60 homes were destroyed. The city is in western Ukraine and is quite far from the front lines in the south and east. There has been no immediate comment from Moscow, which has previously said that it does not target civilians. Hong Kong-born American singer Coco Lee passed away yesterday. Her sisters broke the news on social media, saying the 48-year-old has suffered from depression for years. The pop star tried to take her own life at her peak residence on Sunday and was rushed to Queen Mary Hospital in a coma. After moving to California during her teenage days, Lee returned to Hong Kong and released her first album in 1994. She shot to fame after launching her Mandopop career in Taiwan in the late 90s. Lee was also the first Chinese American to perform at the Oscars and developed a long-standing relationship with Disney. She is survived by her husband Bruce Walkeris, the billionaire businessman who founded the Pure Group fitness chain. The high-tech rivalry between two of the world's richest men has intensified. Mark Zuckerberg unveiled a long-awaited app called Threads, which poses a challenge to Elon Musk's struggling platform, Twitter. Chloe Fong reports.
U.S. tech giant Meta, which owns Facebook and Instagram, has unveiled its new text-based app with features that are almost identical to the long-standing microblog Twitter. Posts on Threads are limited to 500 characters, compared with 280 for Twitter. But some have dubbed the new app as the Twitter killer in anticipation of a grueling contest. Threads is directly linked with the photo-sharing platform Instagram, allowing its more than 2 billion active users to transfer their existing follower lists, as well as account names and credentials. Meta chief executive Mark Zuckerberg pitched his new product as a friendly alternative.
And if this is the future that you want to see, then I hope that you will join us, because the future is going to be beyond anything we can imagine.
In just a few hours, Threads garnered over 10 million sign-ups, but Twitter is well ahead with more than 300 million users. Hong Kong is among the over 100 regions and countries which can acquire Threads through Apple and Android app stores. The rollout came as Twitter tries to revive its struggling business, following Elon Musk's $44 billion chaotic takeover. Zuckerberg, in a rare post on Twitter, shared a photo of two identical Spider-Men in a confrontation. This was seen as a dig at Musk. Silicon Valley's two most prominent billionaires have challenged each other to a bare-knuckle fight in Las Vegas. But for now, the fight will be between their apps. Chloe Fong, HKIBC.
The Hong Kong stock market retreated today by the most in nearly 4 months, as investors offloaded bank shares on interest rate hike worries. The Hang Seng Index headed south shortly after opening and ended 3% lower. The Bank of China, China Construction Bank, ICBC, and China Merchants Bank all lost between 3 and 4%. Auto shares were resilient despite the slump, with Brilliance China surging 15% on its special dividend planned. Property management company Color Life had a roller coaster ride after it resumed trading, soaring by nearly 34% before closing 14.5% lower. Now let's take a look at the markets. The Hang Seng Index was down by 577 points. The top 10 active stocks, Tencent lost $8.60. The tracker fund was down 45 cents, while Alibaba was down by $1.15. Meituan was down $3.90, while BYD Company picked up 20 cents. The forex trading against the Hong Kong dollar. The euro's at 8.52. 1,000 Japanese yen will get you 54 Hong Kong dollars, while the Australian dollar is at 5.22. Over in Europe, the London FTSE is currently down 106 points. On to the weather now. There will be isolated showers tomorrow morning, but it will be very hot during the day, with the mercury hitting 34 degrees. Similar conditions for the weekend. That's our main news for Thursday night. Join us for more news at 11. I'm Raymond Yeung. Good night.